So last Sunday, during the Bengals game, I think I moved through every emotional state. Right? I started out with sort of cautious hope and then moved through despair into sort of mourning by halftime. And then hope began to grow and I began to see what a future may look like. And then there was an interception. And I think I went back to despair. And then for towards the end of the game, the Chiefs had the ball on the 5-yard line. Looked like they were going to score a touchdown. Looks like they were probably going to win. It was sort of being torn apart, and then there was a fumble, and I dared to hope, and then there was a field goal, and then it went to overtime, and it was terrified, and then they won, and it was celebration, it was euphoria. Friends, we move through all of these stages throughout our lives, sometimes in a span of a couple hours, sometimes over a day, a week, a month. We go through these various emotional states in our lives. And there are times especially in those times of despair, where we wonder, is God at work here? Is there reason to hope? Do we dare hope? And Jesus tells this parable about a sower. And he's talking about God going forth, and the sower spreads the seed in all these different soils. And the practical side of us looks at it and goes, well, why are you putting seed in rocky soil? Why are you putting seed on the path? Why don't you only put it in good soil? But that's not what God does. God is generous, and God operates from a place of abundance. And so God throws the seed, God spreads the gospel widely through the power of the Holy Spirit in hopes that something may grow, that fruit may come from this casting the far and wide of the seed. And the same is true for us, friends, is that God comes to us in times of emotional distress. God comes to us in times of joy. God comes to us in every different state that we walk through, in every different soil we experience in our lives. God is there working through the power of the Holy Spirit. And we can trust that because we know that the seed of Jesus Christ, right? He was the seed that went into the ground. He was buried in the ground. And for 3 days we waited to see if that seed would germinate and bear fruit. And it did. And he has gone ahead of us and shown us that we too, like Jesus, will be buried in the ground, but we can have confidence and hope that we will rise to new life. And God continues to remind us of this truth through the power of the Holy Spirit in every emotional state, in every soil that we pass through in our lives. God is there and God is at work. And because of that, we can be a people of hope. Thanks be to God.